Startup Japan is designed to help foreigners start up their lives in Japan. It is a video teaching materials in English, Chinese, Korean, and Vietnamese that explains concisely the basics procedures to get the status of residence, so-called visa, for working, starting business, marriage, and so on. Startup Japan News is a video news in each language that selected the latest and the most useful news you need to know for life, work, and business in Japan. This time, I would like to tell you about the reality of Japanese companies that foreign students should know when they get a job at a Japanese company. College students, even Japanese students, consider employment as their final goal and have various illusions about companies and careers, but foreign students may have a larger gap between illusions and reality. I hope this video can help in filling that gap somehow. This article is based on a questionnaire survey on recruitment of foreign students / advanced foreign human resources, conducted by Disco Corporation in December 2019 on about 680 Japanese companies. The following table compares the percentage of companies at the end of 2019 that hired international students in the year and planned to hire in 2020. According to this, even small companies as well as large companies are willing to hire increasing number of foreign students. In reality, their plans were not accomplished because of corona pandemic, but the intention of Japanese companies that want to hire international students seems to be stable and getting stronger year by year. Although the number of foreign students hired by Japanese companies has been increasing recently, that is yet only 50% of those who wish to work for Japanese companies. There is some problems behind this reality with the way Japanese companies expect and treat international manpower, point out Professor Kuman of the Asian Research Institute of Asia University. Difficulty for foreign students to get jobs stems from the attitude of Japanese companies that require high Japanese proficiency for them. There are a lot of foreigners who can speak Japanese well, but are not good at writing. The hurdles for skills of writing and reading are high. Nevertheless, many Japanese companies are the first to seek Japanese communication skills. If you are too particular about the Japanese ability, you will miss out on talented people. Even if they get a job at a Japanese company, many foreigners suffer from cultural gaps and quit soon. There are deep-seated problems in the culture of the organization, which includes ordinal overtime works and substantial difficulties foreigners' promotion. If they want foreigners to be homogenized with Japanese people and work in the same way, it will not work. I think they have to change this attitude. Professor Kuman's point also appears in the data. Let's take a look at it. This graph is the answer of Japanese companies to the question to which extent they expect Japanese language proficiency for international students at the time of the entrance examination and after joining the company. In this graph, upper a business means the so-called business Japanese language test 480 points or higher, or the Japanese language proficiency test level 1, N1, or higher. More than 70% of companies expect international students even higher Japanese proficiency after they're being assigned. This is supported by the fact that 45% of the companies point out insufficient Japanese communication skills as problems in utilizing foreigners. Another question asks about the overall abilities expected of international students, and the answers also show how important Japanese companies see their communication skills. With the exception of the first Japanese language ability and the fifth cross-cultural adaptability, that is, the ability to adapt to Japanese culture, these items are exactly the same as the abilities expected of new Japanese graduates. In other words, Japanese companies are expecting international students to be substitution of Japanese people. As for the mechanism of recruiting and developing human resources in a company, two kinds of category, job type and membership type, are recently often argued. The job type is the idea of allocating employees to departments according to their professional abilities, and deciding grade evaluation and promotion. An employee who has good skills in web marketing, for example, will be assigned to that section for many years, will be able to further develop their skills, and will be promoted along with raised salaries regardless of his age or years of service. It is said that most companies in the world except Japan have adopted this mechanism. On the other hand, in the membership type of Japanese companies, they put more emphasis on being a member of the company than anything else. In other words, they request the employee's loyalty, cooperation, self-sacrifice, etc. to the company. And these attitudes are considered to be cultivated proportional to the length of employment, so they promote and increase salary not according to ability, but to the length of employment. Further, the work the employees are in charge changes every few years. This is called job rotation. And the company give good evaluation to those who have comprehensive abilities rather than specialized abilities. The difference between two systems can appear as a difference in corporate culture. In the job types, companies value employees' creativity, innovation, and presentation ability. In the membership types are valued continuity, intimacy, few mistakes, cooperation, and teamwork. The fact that neither companies nor international students are very aware of this unique Japanese corporate culture may be the reason behind the gap in mutual expectations. Let's listen to Professor Kuman again. Many Japanese companies are facing challenge of innovation and globalization. Responding to globalization will not succeed unless they can develop their business overseas from the perspective of local people. And diversity is the key to innovation. Only when there are diverse human resources in the organization can new ideas and businesses be born. Former Intel CEO Andrew Grove, one of Google's founders Sergey Brin, and Tesla CEO Elon Musk are also immigrants from outside the United States. This fact shows only people of different talents and different culture can become the leaders of global innovation. However, only a limited number of companies consider international students to be valuable human resources for globalization and innovation, rather than substitution of Japanese people. Even Professor Kuman cannot give any examples rather than big, famous companies such as Hitachi, Sony, Human Educational Research Association, and Omron. Therefore, international students should consider their career path over a long period of time and select a job and a company. First, let's clarify whether you intend to live permanently in Japan or return to your home country. Permanent residence status in Japan became easier to get than before. Basically, it takes 10 years, but those who have a doctoral degree or master's degree and have high income can obtain permanent residence status. In 3 years, one gets 70 points or more of advanced human resources points, and in 1 year one get 80 points. Of course, if you marry a Japanese person or a foreigner who already has permanent residence status, you can get permanent residence at once. If you get permanent residence, you can live a stable life in Japan, basically like native Japanese. On the other hand, if you plan to work and live in Japan for about 5 years, and then return to your home country. Gaining professional skill is key to designing your career path. One possibility is that you try to have experience as a manager, that is, a section chief or higher, in Japan, and then persuade the company to assign you as branch manager in your home country. Branch managers must be good at sales and office management, but you can appeal your communication skills and information gathering skills as unique ones. From the beginning, when you entered into the office, let's hone these comprehensive strengths. In order to return to your home country and make the most of your career in Japan, it will be a weapon to acquire the technology or products management ability in the fields where Japan is still competitive in the world. In general, Japan maintains competitiveness in the fields of machine manufacturing, optics, and food manufacturing. Since these are manufacturing industries, you will not acquire know-how unless you have experience in the manufacturing site. One way to acquire professional skills in the manufacturing industry is to obtain a status of residence of specific skills. The specific skill system covers 14 fields such as machinery manufacturing, including automobile, construction, food processing, and agriculture. If you pass the skill test and the Japanese language proficiency test in 4, you can get a job. There are kinds of merits for foreign employees. Governmental organization arrange your job engagement and control the company, guarantee good working environment and support your daily life. University students, especially humanities students, tend to stick to clerical work, but if you want to return to your home country and make use of your career in Japan, you should consider experiencing the manufacturing industry. On the other hand, as we have seen, many Japanese companies are lagging behind in globalization and innovation, and less aware of employees' diversity. Therefore, you should consider the choice to work for a Japanese startup company that is not a large or a well-known, but has promising technologies and business models. These startups will send love calls to you as a foreigner with great ideas and great ability of action. If you are thinking of starting a business in the future, you should aim for a startup without hesitation. This time, Startup Japan News focused on the gap in mutual expectations between companies and international students based on survey data. Find a company that understands the importance of diversity to drive globalization and innovate, rather than adapting to Japanese corporate culture and job search manuals.